was hard to understand when we asked her where the police need to go, and then she stopped talking and heard somebody else say to walk in front of them.
What's up, folks? Welcome back to the show. So yes, another day in America. This is what we have to live with every day now, because we don't have law and order. In fact, we're living in a state of anarcho-tyranny. So this is basically where the bad guys are protected and the good guys are punished to the full extent of the law. If you don't buckle your seatbelt, there's a $200 ticket for you. You get everything free and you get helped if you contribute nothing to society, pretty much. And that is a perfect example of what we saw in this incident that's just happened, by the way. A woman was killed during attempted kidnapping at Omaha Walmart, was under court supervision. Okay, and by the way, for context, this is the woman who committed this act. She tried to kidnap a toddler, and as you will see, also did some scary things. I'll show a picture of the body cam footage. Obviously, we can't show the body cam footage. I don't even know if it's released to the public because it's like she has like a weapon and there's the toddler and a very graphic image. But yeah, she doesn't look like, that doesn't look like, what is the word I'm searching for? Heritage American? Does that look like Heritage American to you? But yes, the Heritage Americans, I'd have to say that, but you know what I mean. Anyway, let's watch this whole video. This is from Fox News. Hopefully I won't have any of those freaking ads. You know, it's crazy how, despite being so technologically advanced, a website like Fox News can't seem to figure out how not to make ads super obnoxious. But anyway, here's the video.
It was hard to understand when we asked her where the police need to go, and then she stopped talking and heard somebody else say to walk in front of them.
Could hear in the voice a frantic scene this morning in Omaha where police swarmed this Walmart. Police say a 3-year-old boy cut with a knife in the Walmart parking lot is going to survive. Police release 2 images from a body-worn camera of the police officers moments before shots were fired, killing the suspect who hurt the boy.
A warning, the images you're about to see are disturbing. They show the suspect, identified as 31-year-old Noemi Guzman, attacking the boy with a large kitchen knife, which she reportedly shoplifted. 2 patrol officers shot Guzman, who died at the scene. Investigators believe Guzman was trying to kidnap the boy from his caretaker.
We spoke with those that had saw some of this firsthand.
First Alert 6's Andrew Pfeiffer joins us now live outside of that Walmart. Andrew, you spoke with multiple witnesses today.
Yeah, well, that's right, Brian and Aaron. Now, some witnesses tell me, I spoke with an employee inside the store. They say a lot of shoppers and a lot of workers that were inside the Walmart didn't even know it was happening at the time until police arrived. I spoke with one employee who was inside the store when this all went down, and I also spoke with the woman who stepped in to help.
For Becky Bissell, it all happened so fast.
I definitely didn't foresee anybody dying.
While driving away from the Walmart parking lot, Becky caught something from the corner of her eye.
Well, the mother was visibly crying, like she was very, very shaken up and upset. The little boy was calm, but he looked like he was scared.
The woman quickly approached Becky, pleading her to call the cops. That's when she realized something was seriously wrong.
The other person was holding a knife, a very large, looked like a kitchen chef knife.
While Becky was attempting to de-escalate the situation, her own 1-year-old child was still in the car.
Just very shocked and scared. I didn't know what was going to happen, if that little boy was going to be okay. At that point, it was just kind of fight or flight, and I just knew I needed to not be there anymore.
They got over the intercom and said we were in lockdown. And then I'm like, okay, what's going on?
Meanwhile, on the inside, workers were shuffled to the back of the store.
Anybody that witnessed anything would have to speak to an investigator.
So what's your experience been like working there?
It's been good. I've never had anything like this, other than, people stealing on a daily, but other than, I've never heard anybody hurting or kidnapping a child.
In the meantime, Brian and Aaron, the Walmart actually opened up to customers. They're still coming in and out behind me, and it looks like that store's fully opened up for the time being. But as police wrap up their investigation, we'll be sure to bring you the latest with those new details as they develop. Reporting live out near 72nd and Pine, Andrew Pfeiffer, First Alert 6.
No doubt the situation could have ended up even worse. Andrew, thank you. So let's walk you through the timeline now of what took place today.
It all started shortly after 9 o'clock this morning at that Walmart off 72nd and Pine. That's just south of Pacific. We're told a 911 caller indicated that there was a woman who we now know is Noemi Guzman holding the boy hostage with an armed with a large kitchen knife.
Now, police, when they arrived at the Walmart, they immediately approached her. According to police, Guzman made multiple threats with the knife. Police say officers ordered her to drop it several times.
Police say she refused and then cut the boy, leading the two officers to shoot and kill her. The child's caretaker, as well as a...
Here's a company you probably haven't heard of yet. But what's happening in the last 4 weeks is worth paying attention to. Saga Metals, trading as SAGMF in the US and Saga in Canada. They're operating up in Labrador, and they just completed a drill program with a 100% success rate across all 36 holes, which is pretty rare in early stage exploration. But it gets more interesting. They also picked up a new titanium asset in the same district as the largest titanium mine in the world, and they secured it from under Rio Tinto, one of the biggest mining companies globally. So when a company that size is circling the same ground, that usually tells you there's something there. Now zoom out for a second. This isn't just about one company, it's about a much bigger shift. There's a growing push to build more reliable domestic supply chains for critical materials like titanium, which is used in aerospace, infrastructure, and advanced manufacturing. And with billions now being directed towards securing those resources, companies positioned in the right place at the right time tend to get a lot more attention. That's where Saga comes in. They're actively expanding in a region that could turn into a major North American titanium district. This is definitely one I'm watching closely, and if you want to learn more, check out the link in the description, and a huge thanks to Saga Metals for sponsoring today's video.
Bystander immediately got the boy out of the cart, and he was then taken to the hospital. Following department protocol, the officers are now on paid leave and will be interviewed at a later date. Our First Alert 6 Investigates unit has been poring over court records today.
Yeah, the alleged kidnapper has been on our news before. In fact, in one case, the courts had found her not responsible for violent crimes for the reason of insanity. 2 years ago, March 2024, Noemi Guzman was accused of setting her father's home on fire and then breaking into St. Francis Cabrini Catholic Church in South Omaha, allegedly armed with a kitchen knife. A priest had barricaded himself in an upstairs bedroom, while investigators said Guzman tore apart the place. For the 4 felonies, the courts found her not responsible by reason of insanity. In June of
Okay, can we stop with this? We're like letting off some of the worst people on planet Earth for terrible crimes because they're insane. And then they're allowed to walk the streets. Well, you're so insane that even though you tried to set your own dad's house on fire and then broke in and violently destroyed a church, no problem. It's just a Christian church. Why would we worry about that? Not our concern. By all means, ma'am, by all means, there are the streets. Enjoy. While you're also enjoying, I would bet money that she's on Medicaid, SNAP, all of the government handouts, all of the welfare as well. Isn't that nice? So we get to pay for these people. And then on top of that, we get to pay for her meds too. Okay? What a system. What a joke. If they're that crazy, if you're so insane that you don't know what you're doing, perhaps you shouldn't be on the streets.
2025, the judge ruled she continues to suffer from mental illness, namely schizophrenia, remains a danger to herself or others, and should remain under the court's supervision. Guzman was an outpatient with her Douglas County Mental Health Services psychiatrist, taking medication and going to therapy to monitor any risk factors connected to her potential for violence. Now, the psychiatrist was tasked with notifying the courts immediately if Guzman did not follow the treatment plan. Until what happened today at Walmart, there's no indication in court records that Noemi Guzman wasn't following the treatment plan. Her annual review before a judge was scheduled for this June. Now, for parents who are watching tonight, this story might raise an uncomfortable question. Does your child know what to do if something goes horribly wrong?
Well, I know what to do. I would teach my children to judge a book by its cover, and if they look like that, avoid. Okay? Don't shoot the messenger. Do not shoot the messenger, all right? If I'm out in the wild and I see like a dove, a white dove, I believe I would be safe around that animal, that bird. If I see, on the other hand, a hyena, I'm going to avoid the hyena. So if you want your children safe, keep them with you at all times. And maybe profiling isn't the worst thing in the world. Is it the worst? Like, am I allowed to say that? Am I allowed to say for a child's safety that profiling is a good thing? Stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason. Are we allowed to say that? So this goes on and on and on, obviously. But this woman, it's just like a criminal record and being allowed out. Oh, you killed somebody? No problem. You're insane. You're a nut job. So feel free to go back and roam the streets. Feel free to go to Walmart and use your EBT money that we're paying for. No worries. No worries. And this is just how it is. For reason of insanity, you may run free, ma'am. You are free to go. And here's your Medicaid and SNAP benefits. By the way, I would be very interested to know, and these are stats you probably won't be able to find, but this woman appears to be of, well, not European descent, let's say. And the cartel, as we know, kidnaps children. They kidnap people all the time. Human trafficking is a big deal. And as we've seen enclaves of people from that region coming into our country, they've set up camps, encampments. Texas, there's certain spots of Texas that are like completely cartel run, right? Do you think the kidnappings have gone up or down since those folks arrived? This is just going to become more and more of a problem. We're just going to start seeing, you're just going to start seeing stories like this more and more and more. And it's going to get to where, unless you can afford to live in a fancy gated neighborhood, which as the people in LA, as the residents of Los Angeles, California have shown, that is not safe either. And I wonder why. I wonder why the amounts of break-ins and crime has gone up so tremendously in California. Well, maybe because when you go to California, it's not blonde surfer guys and blonde pretty girls and jean shorts like it used to be. Maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe this new surge in crime has to do with the new surge in the population. Oh, but they're just here for a better life. Come on, the American dream. What even is an American? What even is America? It's just as, like Ben Shapiro says, America is just a set of values. So basically that means you could take the Constitution and take it to any place on Earth, on planet Earth, and step it down right there and say, this is the law of the land, so hence, this is America. That's not what America is, and that's not what an American is. And getting a piece of paper doesn't make you an American, or lack thereof. And so this can all just be attributed back to that problem, the problem of mass migration, because it doesn't take a super genius. You can say, well, it doesn't take a super genius to know who this is, okay? And that's why if I was king of the country, I wouldn't have to go diving through. There people with mass deportation. It would be so easy to clean up this country. You could do it in 1 year. In 1 year, you could clean up this country. Crime would go down. The streets would be clean again. Your pockets would be full of money again. You wouldn't be, I really like to use the R word a lot, not in regards to mental illness, but the other one, because it's kind of aptly describes what's happening to us in our country and the inhabitants thereof, the native inhabitants thereof, rather. It would be so easy to clean this country up with a heavy hand. With a heavy hand, you could clean this country up. No need to go through paperwork. No need to see, let me check your immigration status. If you look a certain way, we have brains and we are gifted with critical thinking. And if it was not on my watch, that's for sure. If you looked like this, well, you know. Anyway, all that to say, it would be so easy to clean up the country. Unfortunately, none of our politicians want to do it because they benefit from it. The people who came up with the whole idea. Well, here's the thing. Slavery was abolished, all right? Free labor, gone. So how do we replace the slaves? Well, you just bring in new ones. But these are worse because at least these people ask for more, really. Like, actually, if you not even like trying to be controversial here, but just objectively run the numbers. These people, we get a little cheap labor and they cost us a ton of money. So I don't know. But if you're down with that, not saying any of that is a bad thing, YouTube, I'm actually saying I love I love mass migration. I love people who look like that. I can't stand people who look like me. And I can't stand neighborhoods that are inhabited by people like me. I would feel much safer in a neighborhood with people that don't look like me. It's no problem to me. We love them. We love mass migration. Yay, mass migration. YouTube. Did you hear that? We love the immigrants. We love the migrants. They're just seeking a better life. Doesn't matter if our bank accounts are drained because of it. Doesn't matter if the landscape of the United States of America is drastically and irreversibly changed. Doesn't matter. That's all part of the plan because it enriches the people that are behind all of this. And honestly, it's like a cheap shot in a way to dig at these people when really these are just a symptom of the disease. And we know what the disease is. We know the people who are behind all of this. That's who we need to put the pressure on. These people need out. But those people that are enabling this and it's all part of their agenda, they're really who is to blame for all of this. So anyway, good news on the Western Front. Walmart is yet again safe to attend. Walmart is one of our leading institutions, leading companies, and it's always a pleasant time in a Walmart. But anyway, have a good one. That is the show, and I will see you in the next one.